What's up? One of these days, I'm going to learn what the hell I should say to you guys when I open up my camera for the first time. It's the last week of February here in Connecticut. Next weekend, I'm starting to drive down to Florida for Forgotten Angels. Me and my partner were also doing a couple of other things that I'm super excited about. But I have some things I need to do to my car before I go down. I've been kind of working in the background and I got some shit taken care of on the car. Now all I really have left to do is finish a top box, a roof basket, and I should be good to go. The top box in question is going to be this Apache rifle case from Harbor Freight. I've had this guy kicking around for a while. It'll hold plenty of things for me. But yeah, driving a small car like a WRX, having a top box I think is super important, because I will be carrying camping supplies, like a week and a half's worth of clothes for not just me, but for my partner as well. A top box, it allows you to carry so many of the necessities, like this OG Tour Water from Vans Warped Tour, a Game Boy Advance, this Aqua figure, MotorsandMetal stickers, a 1911, a katana I got off of Temu, a dummy grenade. So, having essential items is super important. But seriously though, gag items aside, I need to put this on here so that way I can stuff a bunch of our softer things in there. The shit like blankets, pillows, they take up an aggravating amount of space in the trunk of my car. So, I'm going to put this top box on there. And also, it is just a useful thing to have. And at the end of the day, I can still unbolt this rifle case from the roof of my car and use it as a rifle case when I need to. So, back to this thing. If you've ever been to any of the Vans Warped Tours when that was still a big thing, like 2011, 2012, up to 2016, those years, a lot of the bands there were drinking this. Because, Monster sponsored, one of the bigger stages of the... So Monster had this tour water. And they were slamming these because if they were slamming Monsters at the rate that they were doing, they would have kidney stones for days. I found this thing on eBay, and you bet your ass I bought this thing because it's kind of a cool piece of music nostalgia for me, if that makes sense. But yeah, there's a ton of people that have used these Apache cases as things like saddlebags, and like Josh and Shay have used Apache cases to make tour packs and saddlebags for various things like her Trail 125. For the money, they work really well. And I'm going to set this to the side because I don't really need to use foam for what I'm doing. But yeah, that is a ton of space that I can use. Plus, it's reasonably watertight. Probably not when I drill fucking holes in it, but whatever. See what happens. Also, all the shit that I need to do this can just go inside of the box when I carry it downstairs. Amazing. Mind you, I am somebody who loves the wintertime. I love the snow as much as as excited as I am to go to Florida in a couple weeks. I love the winter. This is what my street looks like right now. Not bad, but my driveway is an absolute nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. And I haven't been able to talk to you much about the WRX actually since I've gotten a bunch of work done. The last video I really made about the WRX was like a year and change ago. I was talking about the car blowing up and that whole ordeal with Carvana and Silver Rock and that fiasco. Yeah, no, a lot of stuff's been done to the WRX since then, and honestly, it's been great. Despite not being an F-150, I miss that truck. Anyway, let's get all this shit downstairs, clean the car off, as I'm doing this in the snow, and go from there. I'll talk to you more about the car outside. So this is my 2017 WRX. Since I've talked about this car, did a 2-inch Rallytech lift kit with a Bilstein B6 struts. It's on a 17 by 7.5 Sparco Terra. Falcon Wild Peaks. Those are a 225, 55, 17. That is the Wild Peak AT Trail. Motor stock, I plan on keeping it that way because I don't want it to blow up again. That was a nightmare. All that's under there is a catch can, really. In the back of the car, if you look at the knockout panel, there's a trailer hitch receiver right there. That's the Stealth trailer hitch from Eco Hitch. I bought the trailer hitch for this guy on e-trailer, and that was a pretty simple install. It's got an XZ Stage 1 clutch. Just this past weekend, I got the rear wheel bearings done because those needed to get done. It's got a fresh service. It's ready to go. I gotta mount that green box on top. Also, I have this roof basket that's gonna go on top. In the trailer hitch, I have a back rack, which I'll show you that later. But I have towed stuff with this car. I towed my bike with it, and honestly, it worked great. Stop dropping shit. But yeah, I tend to not really do stuff here during the wintertime because I don't know if you can spot the gold wing, but this is the state of my driveway because we've been getting absolutely hammered lately. Let's clean this pig off, get that going. Close enough. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that basket on first because I'm gonna use that to line up where I want to put the green box. So driver's side will be the Apache case, passenger side will be the basket. The basket I'm gonna put like, you know, our tent and all that. I wanna try and limit the amount of shit that I shove inside of the back seat and trunk of my car because I wanna be able to, like, you know, if we get souvenirs, if we bring anything else down, if we decide to stop somewhere, we get any other shit that we wanna throw in the back seat, I wanna not be jam-packed because going down in my truck, I always have my back seat loaded with shit. It's a nightmare. But yeah, but since doing the lift kit, this thing's been awesome. I've always wanted some kind of rally car to daily. Ever since I had my 05 Impreza. Like, I've driven through nasty snow with this thing. I've driven trails. I've driven all kinds of stuff that I probably shouldn't be doing. I'll throw a couple little clips here. Basket on. I bought this basket from the Home Depot website for like less than 200 bones, and it's not bad. Should hold my stuff. Has a little wind fairing that I'm not really convinced isn't gonna do anything. It went together questionably. The instructions were pretty garbage, but it's a cheap roof basket. I'm doing this on a budget because I don't want to spend the money on a toolie. I don't want to spend the money on anything really specialized for this because I don't want to have this be my stuff mover forever. I'd like to have something else that's truck adjacent, and I'm just kind of making do for now. Let's get this thing on. Here's hoping my camera doesn't get roached outside. Try and get this up here without shattering my windows. So you see I have 4 marks. That's the width of the roof rail. I just need to center that inside of my holes because I'm going to use the brackets as a template. There's a lot of ways to do this. I'm going to show you the half-ass way. So what I did was I I wrap the strap around it. I need a 5/16 hole. I'm gonna go there. And there. There are way better ways to do this than the half-ass way I am doing it. Straight enough. Measure once, cut thrice. What are you doing, Step Frill? And we got a nice hole. Those are mighty fine looking holes. Ooh, let's try to not drop metal stuff on my back window. I don't need that right now. Watching me work on stuff is like watching a monkey fuck a football, dude. But once you have your holes drilled, you know, you'll see they line up where they need to line up. Just start feeding things through. Again, don't tighten anything until you are ready to finalize where the box goes. But yeah, this is the setup. So, these brackets don't line up, and these don't have enough give to do anything about it. So I'm gonna use a little bit of fine engineering to make these work. Three. I work in aviation, by the way. There's 4. That should make you feel a lot better about flying. So the brackets weren't lining up. The inner brackets weren't lining up with the posts here. Probably because whatever idiot drilled through this box didn't leave enough wiggle room for these to contract and expand. I can't wait to meet that guy. Anyway, let's get these bolted up. It's a good thing I wasn't going to use that strap mount anyway. There's a million ways to do things. I just happen to pick the wrong way most of the time. Not poking up enough? There you go. Why does everything have so many threads? So there's that so far. Let me close this guy up. We got one more thing to put on, and then we should be good. Bruh. I really ought to put a counter for how many times I've almost shattered my window today. Now, no overland burrow rig is truly complete without externally mounted fuel tank of some sort. This little gas can I got from TJ's Brutal Customs. I bought it for my Florida trip last year on the back of my motorcycle because the bike's got a tune on it for 93 and I didn't really want to risk not having any ability to get 93 down there. So I got this. I did have to use it. I found a place in South Carolina that had 91 only. It was ethanol free, which it probably would have been fine. I don't know. I didn't want to chance it. I just used this guy. Either way, we're gonna stick this bad Larry right here, and that'll look sick as fuck. comes with this little mount that goes in the back of a sissy bar with these tiny nylock nuts on it. And I'm just gonna mount it right there. All right, and once this guy is on, it is a simple, I fucked that up. This goes against this plate, and then you bolt that on. The problem is I'm an idiot. I was sitting here looking at the face of this like, damn dude, this looks good, but holy shit, those studs are long. Yeah, no shit, you fucking moron. I wonder why. Now I have to back a nylock out a mile because I'm stupid. So this guy goes on like that. All right, locks out. Then you just line it up and thread that bad Larry in there. Then this just pushes in. And you are set to go, dude. All right, so now as I'm cleaning up and getting ready to leave, because I have to leave immediately, that is the setup. Little Harbor Freight top box, then a roof basket, gas can. Turn this WRX into an adventure machine, dude. And we got one more rack that'll go on this. I will show you really quick because I'm not gonna put it on. Here in my danger basement, that is the trailer hitch rack that I'm gonna throw on it. That is optimal storage for coolers, dude. I'm gonna get ready to go to work. I will update you towards the end of this video on how it does. Okay. Now we're driving. A little bit of wind noise, nothing too crazy, about what I expected if I'm totally honest. I'm kind of used to a noisy cabin anyway in this car because this car does not really have great sound deadening, but that's what the radio's for. But yeah, no, it seems to be holding up pretty well. I will check back a little bit later. When I get to work, I'll check all the clamps, make sure everything's tight, and then I'll go from there.
Some time later.
Alright, what's up? It's much later. Got everything slapped together. drove to work. Now, from my house to my job, it is 55 miles one way, almost entirely highway, with all that stuff strapped to the top of my car, and it held up fine. So I'm pretty confident. I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit. I'm gonna push the basket inward just a smidge. I threw some desiccant in the top box just to try and make sure I can combat any moisture, because I don't want that to smell putrid. Either way, it works great. At the end of the day, I still wish that I had my F-150, and I very much would like to have another one at some point in time. But it made sense to get rid of the truck, at least in my mind at that point in time. I got rid of the truck. It made some real questionable noises. As I was coming back up from Florida in 2024, I came home, I got rid of the truck, I got into the WRX, it blew up. It's been a whole cycle. The last couple of years of me owning this WRX have been me trying to force myself to like this car again. I was super stoked to get it initially, but when it blew up and I didn't have the car for 2 months, a month after owning it, that kind of took the wind out of my sails. So in not having a truck, it's forced me to think outside the box with how I move things and how I pack and do all sorts of crap like that. It forced me to ride the motorcycle to Florida, which was an experience. I very much hope to do that again at some point in time when the stars align to have that make sense. Now, my fiance is coming with me. I've had a passenger before. She is my first passenger, but it's not really the best equipped to have myself, her, enough stuff for us to sustain a week and a half, because we're going to be stopping at a few places down. I'm just not going to bring a bike, whatever. There will be plenty more motorcycle shenanigans for me this year. Put a roof rack on it, I've put baskets on it, I've put a box on it, I've lifted the car, I've put a trailer hitch on it that has a 2-inch receiver, I wired everything, I tow with it. I've done a lot of stuff with it. I'll throw some like little clips here as I'm talking, but for the last few months, since like my buddies Tyler and Austin helped me do this lift kit, I've just been going left and right. What can I do to make this serve my needs more? I need to be able to move around my motorcycle. I need to be able to grab things here and there without needing a pickup truck. Learning how to make it suit my needs more has been a great experience. I've always wanted to have a lifted Subaru of some sort, even back when I had my 05. This is my 4th Subaru. I've had quite a few. This is the first one to actually explode on me, so I'll give you that. I've had a number of vehicles. In the last several vehicles, I've done quite a bit of stuff too. There's my Civic, which I showed a couple of years ago on the channel, which is still sitting in a tomb right now. I'll deal with that later. I've had 2 F-150s. This is my second V8 chassis WRX. My Subaru ownership journey started with my 05 Impreza RS. It was a great little car. I thought it was way faster than it was, but we've all had a car like that, let's be honest. My wonderful friend Taylor has gifted me with one of the most amazing things I've ever gotten, and that is artwork of all of my vehicles that I've modified in the last few years. Taylor included all of these vehicles. Taylor included both of my F-150s, my 09 and my 13. The 09 was my first pickup truck. I had done a 6-inch rough country lift and some questionable things to that truck. My 13 F-150 was the one that I had on the channel for quite some time, that I drove to Forgotten Angels a couple times, and that I did the 2-inch leveling kit on with the Fox coilovers and the bronze vision wheels, that whole shebang. You've seen the Civic before. When the time comes for me to be able to do something about that, I'm going to revisit that and tell the story about that car again. There's this WRX that I've talked a little bit about, and you saw throughout the rest of the video. In the center is my 05 Impreza. That car that you see getting the little bit of air in my old YouTube intro, it is that car. So if you look around, you can see all sorts of key details. You can see my logo, you can see the worn leather couch logo in the background, you can see the ravens that I feed on top of one of the F-150s. On top of the Civic, you can see my cats right smack dab in the center. You see this Stratocaster that Bill made for me. I talked about it a little bit in the last video. I was going to work on it in that video. Well, I don't have strings for it, so that's a later problem. I've made these designs available as merch. I had one shirt quite some time ago, and that was the worn leather couch logo. I had it up on Teespring, and my fiance tried to order a shirt. She never got it. So I took that down. Also, I have some stickers. I'm going to bring them down with me to the camp out. If you see me, come get a sticker. Give me a sticker. Fight me, whatever you want to do. But speaking of Forgotten Angels, Brapstar raffle bike is this Harley-Davidson 103 DYNA. I don't know the year, but that is the next charity raffle bike that will be raffled off at the Forgotten Angels camp out in just a couple weeks. Brapstar will be installing a ton of parts on that motorcycle before it goes out the door to you. You do not need to be present to win that motorcycle at the camp out. You can be anywhere in the United States and win that motorcycle. It's $25 a ticket. If you buy 5 tickets for $100, you save that receipt, and that is your entry into the Forgotten Angels camp out for the whole weekend. 100% of your proceeds are going to go to a 501c3 charity. Forgotten Angels' mission is to help end the cycle of foster care abuse. Every day, young men and women are turning 18 in the foster care system, and then they are kicked out into the world with more often than not nothing but the clothes on their backs. Dave and Cindy, the owners of Forgotten Angels, they take these young men and women onto their own property, give them space in a tiny home, give them the jump start that they deserve to be able to be a functioning member of society and to be able to stand up on their own 2 feet. Forgotten Angels has lost a lot of funding in recent events, and I'm not here to get political with you. That is not my shtick. Argue elsewhere about that. But now more than ever, they can use your help. So if you are interested in winning a sick DYNA, the link will be right there in the description for you to check out. Remember, all proceeds go directly to benefiting Forgotten Angels. It is $25 a ticket, and $25 from somebody who, myself, has been very disadvantaged throughout my life. A lot of really rough opportunities I've had to start over way more times than I can count before I even turned 18. $25 in so many situations would have been life-changing. And for a lot of people, $25 is life-saving. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. I will see you guys in Florida for the Forgotten Angels camp out in just a couple weeks. I hope you have a fantastic end to your winter, and I will see you soon.